and now we're gonna get farmed down with some nice lag. You love to see it, and the switch timers are... What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, and if you're a returning subscriber like Carp Hunter, thank you for the support. In today's video, we are previewing the Ultra League for Season 10. The Ultra League is starting on December 13, running for 2 weeks until December 27th. During this time, there will be 2 versions of the Ultra League to pick from, the Open Ultra League, and there will also be the Ultra League Remix Cup, which features 10 banned Pokemon. So if you've been watching my channel for some time now, you're probably already aware of this. However, if you are a new viewer to the channel, I do have 0 XL Pokemon, and I have never used an XL Pokemon on one of my own teams. Now, I will agree that trying to build teams without XL Pokemon is quite difficult in the Ultra League. However, it is not impossible to win without them. And ever since the introduction of XL Pokemon, I have still been able to reach Legend Rank in each of those seasons, including reaching the leaderboard on multiple occasions, as well as finishing on the leaderboard at the end of the season in 3 of the past 5 seasons. So what I'm trying to say basically is that you do not need XL Pokemon to win, and if you're a player below level 40 who cannot build XL Pokemon, there's still hope for you to push for Legend Rank during these next 2 weeks. So in this video, we will be taking a look at 6 Ultra League teams. The first 3 will be for the Open Ultra League, and the second 3 will be for the Ultra League Remix Cup. Before we go over these teams, I want to go over 3 non-XL Pokemon which are very strong but I do not have access to. The first of which is going to be Trevenant. Trevenant is a Pokemon that was recently released. It is available as an XL, however you could still get it to 2500 CP without any XL candy. Armored Mewtwo is also a very strong pick with a lot of bulk, so I would definitely recommend looking into some teams with it if you have one available. And finally, Obstagoon is a solid counter to Giratina and a lot of the dark types, so I would recommend using this. However, keep in mind that it is banned in the Ultra League Remix Cup. So the first team we're going to be taking a look at is in the Open Ultra League, and this is a team that I started using in Season 6 of Go Battle League, and I really do like it. It features the classic backline of Giratina plus Lapras, but we have a Escavalier in the lead. Now I do have the movesets on screen here. I do think if you're a beginner, using Mega Horn plus Drill Run is the optimal moveset for Escavalier. However, as you get more experience, I think there is a lot of play with Acid Spray. I think it's a really good move that plays a lot of mind games with the opponent. Taking a look at the overall ranking of this team, it is all Bs across the board. What I like about this team is that Escavalier, its main weaknesses in the Open Ultra League are going to be Talonflame, and now Trevenant is also going to be an issue. So there isn't really too many things that hard counter it in the lead per se. And both those Pokemon, Talonflame plus Trevenant, we have some pretty solid coverage for in the back with both Giratina and Lapras. So we have the weaknesses covered, we have a fair amount of bulk, and we have a nice safe switch option in Giratina Altered. Now depending on what answer the opponent has for Giratina Altered, we should be able to come back in with a response no matter what it is. If they bring in something like Obstagoon, we have the Escavalier. If they bring in something like Togekiss, we have the Lapras. So you could see this team has really good synergy, and it is a team that I have featured in the past on the channel. If we are looking for alternatives to this team, in particular Giratina Altered maybe might be most difficult to get. I have seen players running the same team with Gyarados in the place of Giratina Altered. This will present a few more weaknesses for the team in general, however it still performs very well, and if you have Gyarados available to you, that is definitely a reasonable substitute. The reason Articuno isn't a great substitute for Lapras here is that the team then becomes ABA weak to Talonflame, and that could present an issue, especially since most Talonflames are found in the lead. With that said, let's jump into a practice battle right now. So this battle is taking place against a friend of mine on the friends list. We have a Escavalier into a Melmetal. Obviously this is a beautiful lead to see, so Escavalier is going to stay in here. Notice I am running Acid Spray. Opponent swaps out into Trevenant, and Trevenant is going to be a very popular pick in this meta for sure. And I don't exactly agree with bringing in Giratina Altered here. I actually think that bringing in Lapras may make more sense in this situation, because if we start getting baited by Seed Bombs and shielding, the Trevenants could end up winning this match. In this case, we did call the Shadow Ball. You could see that this opponent is taking a lot of damage here, but look how much damage we're also taking in return from just these Shadow Claws, because we are shielding up the Shadow Ball. So Trevenant is going to be a force to be reckoned with in this meta. The opponent going to throw another move here, hoping it's not a Shadow Ball, but thankfully it's only a Seed Bomb. We maintain switch, but we did have to burn both shields. So you can see the dominant matchup Trevenant has there against the Giratina. They come back in with the Melmetal here, and they can't really farm us down with Thunder Shock, so we should be in a pretty good spot here. Keeping the alignment, of course, is very nice, but we'll have to see what they have in the back. So the opponent is keeping their shield. nice CMP tie right there, they are going to beat us and knock us out with the Rock Slide. At this point, I'm going to come back in with the Escavalier. Shields are down. Superpower is going to hurt, but it's not going to KO. The opponent likely will swap out and preserve a second move if they have it ready. It is a Galarian Stunfisk in the back. So I'm going to go for the Acid Spray bait right here. Gets the no shield, which is brutal. However, if we do have Drill Run, this will threaten. So they have to respect the potential Drill Run here. Going for the Acid Spray once again. And this is what I mean by Acid Spray on Escavalier. It plays a lot of mind games on the opponent. And now Lapras comes in here. Should be able to take out this Stunfisk with one Surf after the double drop to the opponent's defense. So Surf comes through, takes out the Stunfisk, the Melmetal comes back in, nothing will KO from this range, and we are going to be able to take this game with the Ice Shard farm down. So that is an example of the first team in a practice battle. So jumping into team number 2, this is definitely a more spicy team, and this is also another team I have featured on the channel in the past. This one consists of a Snorlax lead, Virizion, and Articuno in the back. Virizion, of course, is a pretty polarizing Pokemon. It loses hard to Giratina, but it completely walls some of the other Pokemon. Umbreon, Swampert, Melmetal. There's a lot of good matchups here for Virizion in this meta. In the past, I have also ran this team with an Articuno lead. The main issue is, once again, the Talonflame leads could be problematic. Alola Ninetales could be problematic. There is quite a few weaknesses to this line. So I think if you're using this team in the Ultra League Remix, Articuno lead might make more sense. But in the Open Ultra League, I do like the Snorlax lead a little bit better. Taking a look at PV Poke, you can see this team does have a D rating in coverage, which isn't great, but the rest of the ratings are actually very good here. This is a somewhat difficult team to use. It sort of performs in an ABB style, but Snorlax isn't exactly the best answer to the Pokemon you are luring out here. Something like Talonflame, for example, could get a huge energy lead, so I like swapping with the Articuno just to throw those debuffs or at least an Ancient Power at the Talonflame, making the matchup a bit easier for the Snorlax. And I also think for the Open Ultra League, running Earthquake on the Snorlax might make more sense just because it makes the Giratina matchup a bit more playable, and there is the potential to one-shot the Steel types a bit easier with Earthquake. So jumping into this battle, we have a Snorlax lead into Alolan Muck. Alolan Muck is a bit of an issue here for the Snorlax, so we're going to see how this plays out. See the licks are being resisted. We're going to get to this Body Slam, wait for the opponent to throw first, and after they throw, I'm going to look to swap out into the Articuno here, potentially lure out a hard counter to this, but the opponent is staying in. Now, we did bank the energy on the Snorlax, which is very nice. In case they come in with something like a Talonflame here, they do go for another Acid Spray, which tells me that they might be a little weak to Articuno in the back. So I'm going to throw the Icy Wind right here. Did overfarm a little bit, and now we get some lag. So you hate to see it, but it is what it is, nothing we can do. I think this is actually part of the recent refresh mode introduced into the game. Maybe my phone is just too slow for it, but that Hydro Cannon almost KOs because of the Acid Spray. So we do survive, get off this Icy Wind. Now we're able to switch out into the Virizion. We are locked into a dominant position right here. Most Swamperts are running Earthquake plus Hydro Cannon, so nothing to worry about here with Virizion. Super tanky green monster against the Swampert, building up to 100 energy. Going to throw the Leaf Blade right here. Obviously a little bit too difficult to farm down with the quick attack, so I do throw. And here is the bane of Virizion's existence, which is basically Giratina altered. So gonna go for these Leaf Blades right here. Just have to get off this energy. This isn't the greatest thing to see, however we do have two nice answers in the back for it. Granted, one of them is pretty much dead in the Articuno, but Snorlax here, after all of this chip damage, will be enough to take out the Giratina even without Earthquake in this situation. So opponent swaps out into the Muck. I'm going to throw the Body Slam here. This is definitely going to get the shield, and I know the opponent's play right here is to get off the Acid Spray, so I'm not going to shield anything. I thought I could win CMP right there. We do not. So this is a bit unfortunate. Acid Spray comes through. We are going to survive and get off this Body Slam right here. But now we are debuffed. So it becomes a situation where we basically just need to stall out the clock here. So I'm going to shield everything. These Dragon Claws are going to be doing more damage than the ones after we reset the debuff. So I don't want to take this damage right here. A second shield coming up. Hoping my switch timer comes. It finally does. So I'm going to swap out into the Virizion. Gonna get off this Leaf Blade right here, which is actually going to do some nice chip damage that we definitely need. Gets the final shield, and now we're gonna get farmed down with some nice lag. You love to see it. And the switch timer is already at 1 second after that lag. Come back in with the Snorlax here. Going to throw the Body Slam. At this point, the game is actually starting to run out of time, as you can see here. So we are going to win this game based on a second Pokemon still being alive, or just more HP in general taking that game. So the next team is going to be the classic double ice strategy. This is a team that I began using in season 2 of Go Battle League, and I've been able to climb with it in every season of Go Battle League since then. Despite the rise of XL Pokemon bringing a lot more threats to this line, it is still very strong. For the movesets, I do run Ancient Power on my Articuno. This is primarily for the mirror match, as well as for a bit better play against Talonflame, Charizard, as well as Lapras. For Giratina, Shadow Claw is definitely a must. It is your only steel type answer. As a result, you need to run Shadow Claw on Giratina. For Lapras, I do run Ice Beam on the regular Lapras. However, for a Shadow Lapras, I do prefer running Skull Bash. Taking a look at the PV Poke rankings, you could see this team is rated very high, BAAA. You would find that hard to believe with an ABA team, but honestly, it just seems to work. It targets the meta very well, and while there are some very difficult Pokemon to encounter, Obstagoon in the back, Galvantula in the lead, Alolan Ninetales, there is a lot of problematic leads. The team just seems to perform very well because of its bulk, oftentimes leading to wins by just pure time out. In regards to some alternatives, I think the most popular variant of this team is the Home Slice Henry line with Gyarados in the lead instead of Articuno. That is definitely a much more affordable option if you have the legacy move Aqua Tail on Gyarados already. It is a cheaper investment than Articuno. However, there are some matchups that will flip as a result of that, as well as some matchups that will improve. I think both teams are worth using, and I would highly recommend using both teams, whether it be Gyarados in the lead or Articuno. So with that said, let's jump into a battle right here. We have an Articuno lead, and we are met by Empoleon. Empoleon is one of the more difficult leads to see with this team, but there is one important thing to note about Empoleon lead, and oftentimes that is Empoleon is going to mean Giratina plus Togekiss in the back, or two things that are usually weak to ice. So notice I swap here into my Lapras instead of staying in with the Articuno. Both of these are a losing matchup. However, I do think that Lapras applies a lot more pressure, especially with Skull Bash on the Shadow right here. You can see that really does add up. And right here, I did actually decide to shield this. Probably a mistake because we will survive this anyway, so you don't want to shield in this situation. But it's been a very long time since I have played Ultra League, so making a mistake right there, throwing the Surf, that is going to actually get a no shield from the opponent, and they're going to take us out here with the Drill Peck. Now with this HP remaining, I will come in with the Giratina and look to farm down. The opponent oftentimes will swap out here, but since they're already so low, it looks like they're going to stay in, or maybe not. Maybe it's the lag that forces them, but like I said, there is a lot of lag right now in Go Battle League. The opponent comes in with the Togekiss, swap out to Articuno, and as you can see, it is a team double weak to ice in the back. And even though we are down shields here, Articuno is going to go to work. So I'm actually going to shield up this first one just to ensure that from here on I could completely farm down. And then my goal is to get 3 Icy Winds off with Articuno against the Togekiss. So I'm just going to completely farm down here. We'll get hit by a couple of Dragon Claws, but it really doesn't matter because they will not be able to swap out and reset the debuffs. Togekiss is going to catch the absolute work right here. So we have 2 Icy Winds ready to go. I'm going to look to throw these back to back. And since we are lowering the attack on the Togekiss, that also means that the Charms aren't going to be doing as much damage, which means that Giratina will also be able to take care of this in the back after once the Articuno goes down. So we do get to another Icy Wind because we did debuff the Charms. This third Icy Wind is going to do huge damage. Then we swap out into Giratina, finish this game off in style with the Shadow Stake, and that is one example of the double ice strategy in the Ultra League. Once again, let me reiterate that these are not the best teams for Ultra League. These are simply team ideas. So these are teams that I'm putting together for the video just to give you an idea of how to build a team without using any XL Pokemon. These are definitely not the best teams, but they are options. From these team ideas, you can definitely take some Pokemon out, add some of your own Pokemon, mix them around, play around with it. But remember, these are only team ideas. The Ultra League remix pretty much looks the same as last season. There are 2 Pokemon that switched in the ban list. I believe they are Empoleon and Alolan Muck, which means that Melmetal will now be available in the Ultra League remix. So this first team right here is going to be a Sylveon in the lead with a Snorlax and a Heracross. The team sort of operates in a traditional style. Notice for Heracross, I am actually running Mega Horn instead of Close Combat. This is mostly for Trevenant, and I feel most teams are going to have an answer for Trevenant because it's probably going to be very prevalent within this this meta. I think there are a lot of ways you could change a team like this. You could switch out Heracross in the back for something like Surfetch, Escavalier, a different type of fighter for sure. There are other fairy type options as well as anti-fighting options, anti-dark options. So a team like this is going to be quite weak to a Shadow Nidoqueen, but it's still a pretty solid team overall. Taking a look at PV Poke, you could see it is a CCBB, so not the greatest ranking overall. But once again, PV Poke is just a guide, and again, this team is going to have some struggles, but you could still win some games with it. So let's take a look at a practice battle. So jumping into this battle, we are leading a Sylveon here with Charm, Side Shock, and Moonblast. We get met by a pretty difficult lead right here in Melmetal. I'm going to swap out into the Snorlax. We get met by a very spicy Octillery. So you can see Octillery extremely spammy now with that lock on, going for the Octazooka. I'm going to let that go through here. We do get the attack drop. That is not good. And unfortunately, I sort of mistimed how quickly Octazooka lands, or in this case, it is an Acid Spray. So that's not good. Lowering our attack and our defense here, going for the Body Slam. Gets no shield. You can see Body Slam's barely doing anything at this point. Going to throw another one right here. My main goal is to get shields out of this matchup, unless it becomes apparent that we can win switch. So let's see how this plays out. Octazooka comes through. I'm gonna go for another Body Slam here. And if they let this go through, I may consider shielding and actually going for switch, because at this point, now that I think about it, switch actually is quite important considering it is a Melmetal lead. So if the opportunity arises to win switch, we will definitely go for it. And in this case, the opponent was going to lose switch, so I swap out into Melmetal. I don't like this play here of throwing the superpower. I definitely should be banking this and swapping out into the Heracross. So that is a big mistake on our part. And once again, it's been a while since I have played Ultra League, so mistakes are going to happen. Rock Slide comes through. Second move, I am going to shield this one and commit to the complete farm down here. And let's see what the opponent has in the back. And it is going to be, it's actually a Trevenant, so notice this is where having Mega Horn is pretty nice. Opponent probably not going to expect this, and that is some huge damage right there on the Trevenant. That's going to force them to shield up here on this Rock Blast, so very, very nice. The surprise factor, once again, is working in our favor. Swap out into Sylveon, and we should be able to close out this game now with Charm. Shadow Ball does hurt, but able to farm down. The Octillery comes back in, Charm takes it out. We're going to win that game. So this next team right here is one of my favorite non-XL teams for the Ultra League Remix. This team is basically built around countering Trevenant, which I feel is going to be very, very prevalent within the Ultra League meta. We're going to be leading with Giratina Origin in the lead, running only ghost type moves. You could definitely switch this up for either Dragon Tail as the fast move or Dragon Pulse in the place of Omniswin. It will definitely give you more coverage, because as you could see, one of the main threats to this entire team is something like Scrafty, which could potentially sweep. Snorlax will be operating as a safe switch, and we have a backline that is very weak to fighting types, so the idea is to lure that out and then counter it with the Giratina Origin. Taking a look at PV Poke, you could see this team has a very solid rating of all Bs. You could always replace Giratina Origin in the lead for something else that is going to counter the fighting types that are lured out from this backline, but you want to ensure that whatever you are replacing it with also is able to defeat steel types. With that said, let's take a look at this team in action with a practice battle. So jumping into this battle, we are leading Giratina Origin here, and we are met by one of the worst Pokemon we could see, XL Mandibuzz in the lead, swapping out into the Snorlax, which of course isn't a great answer here, but the opponent does come in with the Nidoqueen. So I'm going for the Body Slams right here. We did get a decent energy lead, and it is a Shadow Nidoqueen, which means that we should be able to pressure some shields at the very least. Poison Fang comes through, I'm going to let that go. Going for another Body Slam right here. And ideally, the best case scenario here, if you're going to lose switch, is to try and get the opponent shields down. So if it appears that I could actually get this to a situation where I could get both shields from the opponent, that is definitely what I'm going to do. So I'm going for another Body Slam right here. I get the second shield now. We do get farmed down, but I'll come in with the Giratina Origin. Earth Power probably is going to hurt, but we have to let this go through. Hope we could farm down before they get to another Earth Power right here. Poison Fang wouldn't be too bad. We're going to swap out anyways when the Mandibuzz comes in. And here is the backline. Typhlosion against Lapras. Having that shield is going to pay big dividends right here, because Surf, super effective damage. I think I would run Skull Bash in the Ultra League Remix, but in this case we are running Ice Beam right here. I'm going to shield up the Blast Burn and look to get off another Surf. Now, Lapras is very important here for the Mandibuzz because we need to do some chip damage still. Mandibuzz could defeat that Giratina without issue. Very tanky right here if Foul Play comes through. We could still take a couple more of those. I am going to be going for the Ice Beam here since we do have it. But if we didn't, we'd have to do a lot of Ice Shard damage and hope that Giratina Origin could close out the game. Now, I do believe that Giratina has a move ready, so at some point, I'll probably look to swap out into that and throw that energy, but I believe we kind of got very risky here towards the end. I was anticipating the opponent to throw. I wasn't actually trying to catch this move, I was trying to throw the move on CMP, and I thought that may have cost us the game right there, but thankfully, we do manage to reach the Surf, taking this game against a very hard counter in the lead, winning that game. And the final team we will be taking a look at in this video is a double charm team, or at least in this case double fairy. The Granbull is not running charm, but we have Typhlosion in the lead. This is a very popular team from many seasons ago. Fire lead with 2 fairy types. I believe it started with like Charizard, Togekiss, and Clefable. It has transitioned to other variants over the seasons, but it is still the same concept. Notice for the movesets here, I'm actually running Snarl on the Granbull. Now Snarl Crunch in close combat is a little bit weird because you could actually lose to Machamp, so maybe you could consider running Play Rough, but I do like having Crunch for a lot of Pokemon within this meta, so the moveset could vary, but I am using Snarl because I'm operating Granbull as the safe switch on this team. Taking a look at PV Poke, a very poor rating here for this team, but the main idea with this team is that it is a classic ABB team. It is going to lose hard, it is going to win hard. That's just the life of a double fairy team, especially when it's running charm. You either hard counter the opponent or you get hard countered yourself. The main attraction to a team like this, it is fairly accessible. There are a lot of replacement Pokemon and it's pretty affordable in comparison to some other teams. So with that said, let's take a look at a practice battle. So jumping into this battle right here, we are leading Typhlosion. I am using Incinerate as opposed to Shadow Claw, and we run into Galarian Stunfisk in the lead, which is a little bit weird. I was considering just swapping out into the Granbull right here, but I figured maybe I'll try and catch a Rock Slide onto the Granbull instead. First time I don't, so we're gonna throw the Blast Burn right here, and they actually will outpace us to the second one, so I should be trying to swap right here. Incinerate's such a long move that it is very hard to catch moves. As you can see, you get stuck in the animation, so forced to burn the second shield, which is very bad, and going for the Blast Burn here. At this point, I'm gonna have to look to swap out into the Granbull, but the opponent decides to let it go through instead, taking the shield advantage. So now we're going to swap out, of course, into the Granbull right here. We are met by Octillery. This trainer, of course, really likes their Octillery, as we have seen in this video, and I'm going for the Crunch right here. If they do shield us, we'll go for the close combat, but this is not a great matchup for Granbull, as you could see. Going for the close combat right here, we did get the final shield, which is very nice. Does not KO the Octillery, and this is about to be the most powerful Octazooka in the world, taking out the Granbull with that dropped defense. One-shot Octazooka, you love to see it. Coming in with the Sylveon, the opponent swaps out into Mandibuzz, and this is a GG. So right here, of course, we could throw a move, but I like to just farm down those dark types, those XL Pokemon, leave them in misery. If this was Go Battle League, the trainer probably would have left the battle right now, but since it is a friendly battle, they have to stay in and endure this pain. Notice Sylveon isn't shielding anything. Absolute tank right here, going to farm down, get that Moonblast ready, and send this Octillery straight to the moon with the big bang. There it is. Moonblast coming through. We take that game. So those were some team ideas for both the Open Ultra League and the Ultra League Remix Cup in Season 10 of Go Battle League. Once again, these are not the best teams. They are just general team ideas to help you get an idea of how to build a team, especially without any XL Pokemon, which is very difficult to do. So remember, if you are struggling to build teams without XL Pokemon in the Ultra League, you are not alone, especially now in Season 10 with so much XL Pokemon available, but it is not impossible to win without them, and you could definitely do it. With that said, I want to wish everyone the best of luck in Ultra League. Definitely leave some team suggestions in the comments down below, some non-XL teams that you are looking to use or that you think I missed out on here. Remember, I don't have every non-XL Pokemon available to me. Something like Trevenant is going to be a beast. You definitely want to use that. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.